So we are here to talk about the tendencies of buy now, pay later. We're here today to talk about the tendencies of BNPL, buy now, pay later, usages in Europe. Like every year, since for now more than 5 years, Floa perform.
Je préfère vous arrêter tout de suite.
Ouais.
Vous avez recommencé la phrase au milieu. Il faut quand même que vous recommenciez la phrase en entier. Hein.
Ok.
Vous allez commencer par buy quelque chose.
Ok.
On recommence au début de la phrase.
Voilà.
Ok.
Même au tout début de l'intervention.
So we are free to... Voilà.
Quand vous voulez.
Let's talk about the specificities of buy now, pay later in Europe. Floa performed a study in Europe with customers in 7 countries, and this study shows the tendencies of the usages of buy now, pay later in those countries. Let's talk about buy now, pay later tendencies in Europe. Floa performs a study with customers in 7 countries. This study shows that buy now, pay later is really largely used by European customers. So 68 customers use it very often, and half of them in time to time. Let's talk about buy now, pay later usages in Europe. Floa performed a market study with customers across Europe in 7 countries, and this study shows that buy now, pay later is still largely used by the customers in Europe, with an increased number of them. So 68 of those customers are using it very often, and half of them, 44%, just time to time. So this solution is now more than implemented in the day-to-day usages. The countries that use it more often, so there are some differences between the countries. In south of Europe, the usage is more focused on 3-4 time installments of the purchase amount, rather than in the North European countries. The product that is more used is pay later or pay on invoice. So this is true for Germany, for UK or other Northern Europe countries.
Génial, cette prise.
Let's talk about buy now, pay later trends in Europe. Like every year since 5 years, Floa performed a market study in 7 countries in Europe with a panel of customers. So this study shows that the number of people using buy now, pay later solution is stable, but the frequency is increasing. There are some differences in Europe. For instance, the Southern Europe countries, they use more often 3 or 4x payments, so installment payments, rather than the Northern Europe countries. They are more focusing on pay later or deferred payments. So the tendency shows that this solution is still largely used. 68% of people has already used this solution very often, and just the half of them time to time. So number is still there and frequency is increasing. All of this is ground for business development. Let's talk about buy now, pay later solutions in Europe. Like every year since 5 years, Floa performs a market study with consumer trends in Europe in 7 countries in Europe. This study shows this year that split payments are still largely used by the customers in these countries in Europe, with a stable number, so 68% of people are using buy now, pay later solution very often, and just half of them time to time. And there are some differences between Southern Europe countries and Northern Europe countries. The people from Spain, Italy, or Portugal, they are more focusing in splitting the payment amount in 3 or 4 installments, rather than the people of northern countries, Europe, Germany, UK, Netherlands. They are more focusing on buying with deferred payments or later payments. Putain, ça c'est pay later payments.
Vous voulez refaire juste cette phrase?
Ouais, je vais faire juste ça. The study shows that the number of the customers using this solution is stable, but the frequency has increased. So people that uses the solution are 68% using it very often, and half of them in time to time. And some differences between Southern Europe countries and Northern Europe countries. In Southern Europe countries, people are using more 3 or 4 installment solution, and in the northern countries, Europe, Belgium, Germany, Netherlands, they are more looking to pay later or deferred payments. So all the offer of Floa. Je voulais faire une conclusion, mais je vais la faire parce que je voulais dire que. Ouais, elle me l'a pas écrit, mais j'aimerais bien la faire.
Moi, je pense que vous aviez dit une phrase qui était
Ok.
pas mal sur la... Pardon. Ça tourne.
So Floa solution is more than ever very relevant in European countries. We cover rather the split payment than the deferred payment. Southern countries of Europe and North Europe countries, well, Floa is the solution for split payment. In Europe, the usages are with some differences from South countries or North countries for Europe, but split payment is the number of usages still stable and the frequency increasing. Since Floa is covering the full market, so Floa is the solution for split payment in Europe.